Let's talk about probably the most common challenge out there for marketers, which is the alignment between marketing and sales, or perhaps is better stated as what happens more often than not, the marketing and sales misalignment. For many companies, the gap between marketing and sales seems hard to bridge. Misalignment between the two crucial parts of the business can feel like you're trying to row upstream in a swift current, or in my case, swim upstream because I'm a swimmer. You can paddle and paddle or swim and swim, but the shore just doesn't get any closer. Let's talk about why this happens. First is often a lack of communication and shared goals. Marketing, for instance, might be focused on brand awareness, while sales is zeroed in on hitting their monthly targets. They're both paddling or swimming, but in different directions. Then there's the issue of inconsistent lead quality and expectations. This is probably the biggest one that we all hear, right? I'm just not getting the right leads, the right quality. Marketing might hand over leads they believe are golden, but sales disagrees, or the leads might not be ready to buy, or perhaps they weren't properly qualified. It's like passing a ball to a teammate who isn't ready to catch it. So that's probably the biggest challenge. And then finally, there's different metrics and KPIs that can cause confusion. If they're not speaking the same language there. Marketing may celebrate, for instance, an increase in website traffic or social media likes, while sales is concerned with conversion rates and closed deals. If success isn't measured the same way, they can't really celebrate together at the end of the day. All these factors contribute to a bigger problem. At the end, it's really about that fear of poor revenue growth. Is someone responsible for guiding the company's marketing efforts? This can keep you up at night. I know it does in my case when we're not hitting our revenue goals. If they're not properly aligned around their goals, how can the company grow? It's not aligned around revenue growth, that is. But here's the thing, the gap between marketing and sales doesn't have to be permanent. Imagine if marketing and sales spoke the same language, if they moved towards shared goals, communicated openly, and understood each other's challenges. What would it look like for the company? So let's explore that a little bit more together. First, consider setting shared goals. What if both teams aimed for the same target, for instance? Instead of marketing focus solely on generating leads and sales, on closing deals, they could work towards a common objective like increase overall revenue or market share. This shared purpose can foster unity. So I think a good thing to ask yourself is, how can we create those goals that align both teams? What common objectives can be set that will encourage collaboration? Next, thinking about enhancing communication is super key. Any relationship, communication is key. Regular meetings, joint planning sessions, and open forums can help the teams understand each other's perspectives. When marketing knows what sales needs and sales understands what marketing is doing, the flow of information improves. And many of the companies I've worked with, the best collaboration comes when sales and marketing have regular meetings, usually weekly, not always, but usually weekly, that is both metrics driven, right, as well as program/qualitative driven. Also, I've seen it work extremely well when marketing is included in the sales QBRs, because there tends to be a lot of review and action planning that happens on a go-forward basis there as well. So improving lead quality is super important. Marketing can work closely with sales to define what a qualified lead looks like. This collaboration ensures that leads are passed on, are more likely to convert, saving time and resources. So making sure there's a common language there, criteria, what should define a lead, what defines passing it along, how do they collaborate on what moving the leads along, and make sure there are KPIs in place to measure that in a timely manner. This, and it's agreed upon with the team. That's a lot of hard work, but that heavy lifting can really pay off at the end of the day, because you'll get the team sort of swimming or paddling in the same direction, speaking the same language. That's perhaps the biggest change that I've seen happen in organizations, is when that data model, that revenue architecture is structured in that way, then it works out extremely well. Incentives is another thing to keep in mind too. I think, thinking about how you can create common financial incentives. For instance, spiffs that salespeople strive towards can also work for marketing. Comping marketing and opportunities close, ties in more closely to the same incentives of sales. Having marketing represented at President's Club or other rewards that the sales team might get or do. Same thing in marketing. If there's a big event that's happening to reward the team, invite somebody from sales. I think that's a great way to do it. Building empathy is also something I like to strive for, right? So shadowing, I think, is a great idea, making sure, especially with more junior level people, but also senior people, how can they shadow one another, partake and understand in what that person's going through in their role from day to day. And then lastly, I think kind of embracing that continuous improvement. As the market evolves, so should your strategies. So encouraging feedback, being open to change, celebrating small victories along the way. I think all of that can create a culture of continuous learning and improvement. And so I think asking yourself, how can I do that? How can we ensure teams adapt and grow together? In the end, bridging the gap between marketing and sales isn't just about fixing a problem. It's about unlocking potential. It's about transforming two separate teams into one powerful force that drives the company forward. The path to alignment may have lots of challenges along the way, but the rewards, in my experience, build a stronger growth, a unified team, and a thriving company, and it's all well worth the effort. So I'd encourage you to get started today, and would love to hear your comments on this topic. Feel free to reach out to me, and if you got comments or want to engage or would like any thoughts on how I could help you out in doing some of that alignment with your teams.